So here we are again. The sun moves on from our perspective. Of course, we're all going through space at a massive speed, but from our perspective here, the backdrop to the sun now has moved on into gateway number 32, which is a gateway we call duration. What it is that endures the test of time, what has lasting capacity. So here we are, we're in the pale blue section on the right side of the wheel there, in the season of Mabon, or this harvest season in the Northern Hemisphere, beginning of spring in the Southern Hemisphere. And we've gone through 3 of the gateways in the spleen center. All of these pale blue ones are in the spleen center, which is all about health, well-being, diet, senses, this sharpening of the wits, like being really, really clear in any instance. And the 32 is one of the gates of instinct, right? This funny word. Does it smell right? Does it smell good? So 32, it always has its finger on the pulse. It's always checking, scanning. Is everything still going the right way? And instinct can happen in a flash. Like all these spleen gateways, they're all instant recognition. It's our oldest awareness center. And it's probably the one we've kind of strayed away from. We've kind of disregarded it because we've all been trained to use our mind, which of course causes a lot of chaos in the world, but never mind. Let's have a look at this gateway of 32 and the life theme that comes from it. And here's a really interesting life theme, personal life theme of the Maya. Right? To all of us, the word Maya, what does it mean? It kind of means the illusion. So is there something real about this world or not? And so people born with this particular life theme, that is their conundrum the whole time. Is it real or not? Did I put all my energy and trust into something or other and it turns out to be nothing? Or I disregard something all of a sudden and then it becomes totally evident and clear to me. So people with this life theme are always kind of balancing between one thing and another. So the 32, this gateway of endurance, what stands the test of time? It's that tuning into something. Is this going to go anywhere? It's part of the entrepreneurial circuit. And all entrepreneurs, all of us entrepreneurs, we have to have our finger on the pulse one way or another. We have to check what we're doing. Is it finding where it needs to go? Is it going to last? Does it need to get modified? Is it going to fail? Right? So each one of the gateways in the spleen center here, one of the things about them is fear of failure. Each of the spleen gateways has a fear to it. And the 32 is it going to work out? Do I need to keep an eye on it? What are my senses telling me? So on the earth side of it, the 42, the gateway of growth and increase, and this is in the sacral center. It's in the lower left corner of the sacral center. And people with a 42 just have that knack of being able to bring about growth and increase in the world around them. Of course, it's really good if that growth and increase is going towards something that's going to bring fulfillment. This is in the abstract circuitry. Does it make sense to get involved in this here? And then we have a look at the unconscious sun. It's in gateway number 62, the gateway of expressing details. It's a throat gateway. And on the unconscious earth side, the 61, the gateway of inner truth, this cosmic antenna that's constantly tuning into, is it truthful or not? So here we have the 32 in tribal entrepreneurial circuitry. We got the 42 in abstract circuitry. We got the 62 in logic circuitry. We got the 61 in individual circuitry. And so here is one of these life themes that's balancing in all kinds of different ways. Is it real or not? And so people with this particular life theme, I always tell them, look, sooner or later, you're just going to realize you're overly involved in something or other. You put all your juice into something, have great expectations of what's going to happen with it. And then the whole thing turns out to be nothing. So what do you do in that kind of situation? Do you get all upset? Or do you find the funny side of it? Do you see that there's great stories to be told here? There's great things to be appreciated here about the ephemeral nature of life. Are we a physical being or are we a spirit being inhabiting a physical body? So this life theme really tests all kinds of different parameters about life. Investment, what am I really involved in here? Is it real or not? So a few of the people that have this particular life theme, Friedrich Nietzsche, you might know, this great philosopher who poked holes, all kinds of holes in life and people's beliefs and understandings about it. P.G. Wodehouse, this great author who could make fun of any human behavior whatsoever. Like literally, you'd think he's going right into something and then he'd just blow it apart. And you could not do anything except crack up laughing. Evel Knievel, you know, this guy that used to ride his motorbike across the Grand Canyon and stuff. Is it real? Can I fly? Or, you know, am I going to hurt myself? I mean, an extraordinary thing. Its whole thing was pushing the bounds. And that's what this life theme is all about, is pushing the bounds of life experience. Really testing the limits of it. Is it real or not? How do we describe the spirit in human form here? And my great advice for people with this particular life theme is find ways to laugh about it. You know, when something finds out to be nothing but fluff, just find a way to laugh about it. You know, you back away from it and see, okay, I was really trusting something that wasn't substantial in the first place. So it really is. This life theme is a balancing act in life. And of course, the 32 is very, very quick to appreciate things. And that's probably the most important feature here, is recognizing just how quickly that 32 can tune into what's really going on. Finger on the pulse, you know, you wet your finger and you put it in the air and you know exactly which way the wind's blowing. Yeah, that instinctual sense, something looks a little not together here. So then, of course, from our perspective, the sun moves on, it goes into the fourth line of the 32. And we enter into this fixed life theme of conservation. And people with this particular life theme, they've got to recognize what it is that's really important to them. Conservation is like, how do I maintain something here that is really substantial for me? Right? How do I bring growth and increase in it? Right? Because that's where the earth is in the 42. And now on the unconscious side, the unconscious sun's gone into the 56, the gate we call the wanderer, the gateway of stimulation, storytelling, traveling to and fro. Right? Finding out all about different life experiences. And on the unconscious earth side, the 60, the gateway of limitations. What are limitations all about? Well, it's about taking care of the basic needs for life. You know, what does one really need? So this particular life theme, people with this life theme, they have to be so clear what it is they're putting out into the world. They find something and it's fixed, and they just go with that, right? And that's what's coming through them, and they're just constantly checking, am I still on track with what's originating from inside me? There's a certain degree of stimulation, there's a lot of story, there's a lot of play around it, there's a lot of examining different cultures and stuff with the 56. There's also just seeing with the 60th gateway, do I cover all my bases in life? You know, do I have a foundation from which to play? And then the 42, this conscious earth placement, brings about great expansion, great possibilities. So it may not be a wonder to you, the person that I found who has this particular life theme, Chuck Berry, you know, one of the founders of rock and roll. And boy, did he have his style. If you've ever seen him with his guitar going across the stage, and he had his way of playing, he had his way of singing, he had his way of dancing, and that was it. And it inspired so many people, but nobody could copy it. Nobody could come even close to what it was he was doing. Anyway, of course, the sun moves on and we get into the 5th and 6th lines. And here we have the interpersonal life theme of limitation. So again, the sun in the gateway number 32, and again, it's testing. Is this going to work? Is there going to be follow through here? Can we push this a little further, or do we have to recognize there's a whole limitation here that we're going to come into? The 42, the growth and the possibility. Yes, we can move further with this thing. We can make it more substantial. But then the 56 says, okay, let's just see, is this fitting within the community around here? So the 56 is in abstract circuitry, like the 42. And the 60 is in individual circuitry, the gate of limitations, right at the root center in the chart. So what are our limitations in life? You know, when we can't pay our bills, when we don't have any gas in the car, we haven't got any food in the fridge, these are all potential limitations. And so the essence of this particular life theme is what is possible, what's not. and it's very entrepreneurial. It's the 32 is very much that entrepreneurial sense. Is this going to take me forward? Is this thing going to resonate well into the world around me? Am I really checking? Are we just in a dream here? The Maya, are we in this whole dream of, there's nothing to this life? Or do we see, no, we actually have to pay attention to what life reveals to us, what our experiences are, how we feel these whole things inside ourselves, and play it out. So this life theme of limitation, Sylvia Browne, this extraordinary psychic, who could just read into so many different dimensions of life and give great story around it all, and tell people all kinds of possibilities, things that had not crossed their imagination before. Frida Pinto, this genius artist, with a lot of handicaps in her life one way or another, but somehow produced this extraordinary, different kind of artwork, despite the holdups, despite the betrayals, despite the handicaps, just produced these things. And then Zac Efron, this very capable actor, who you can tell he's just a very, very watchful presence, just always alert, always paying attention to what it is that plays out around him. So the 192 life themes are all in this book of destinies. Your one is in there, like everybody else on this planet. We all have one for our lifetime. It's really a great thing to find out what is your life theme, what are your family's life themes, and you'll understand so much about how life really calls us into certain things in the world, and how we all have our very particular act to play out. Part of the 3 books of the Human Design, the Book of Lines gives you the depth of all the 384 different lines in Human Design. And it's now in a new edition with a follow through with the circuits, all the circuits, very, very fascinating information there. We're not alone in this. It goes into mammals, trees, birds, everybody. We all have our particular circuitry and ways of connecting into life. And then the Book of Destinies, where the 192 life themes are. Okay. There we are for now. I'll see you next time.